Welcome to Life as We See It. And you know what we like to say? It's a walk through life. So today, I want us to reflect on a time where we probably met someone at some random place. Could be a bus station or a train station or, at the party. And we said something that we weren't supposed to say. It was just a mistake on our part, really. And on our way home, we kept thinking about it. We've gotten home, we're still thinking about it. And guess what? It's been 3 days and we're still thinking about it. We're still replaying the event. Yeah? So I know a lot of us have been in this situation before. And this leads me to our topic today, which is overthinking and why overthinking is not good for us and ways that we can curb that or at least stop it if we can. Okay? So, overthinking is not problem solving. People think that when they're thinking about the problem, then they're solving the problem. But usually people who are overthinkers, and these days people proudly say, oh, I'm an overthinker. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to create different scenarios in my head. I'm going to be worried about this in different ways. But are you solving the problem though? For real, are you solving the problem? You're not solving the problem. You're only thinking of the problem. So thinking about a problem is not the same thing as solving a problem. Okay? And when you think about the problem, it doesn't mean that you've solved the problem. Yes, so it's good for us to know this. There are signs that could let us be aware that we are overthinking about a situation or we're overthinkers in general. So if you notice that you can't get your mind off this thing, off that event, and you keep thinking about that, so you can't think about anything else, that's you overthinking. If you're worried, if you're anxious about that event or whatever's happened in the past, or what's going to happen in the future, because it might also be you're overthinking about something that's about to happen as well. Okay, that's you overthinking. Okay, so you have negative thoughts, you have repetitive thoughts, you keep replaying the thing that has happened already, you keep replaying the event over and over again. Your brain won't shut down and rest because of this. Even when you go to bed, you literally think about this. So you can't sleep properly because of this. Okay, so that's you overthinking. That's a sign. Negative thoughts, that's you overthinking. Also, some people have actually made decisions, and when they've left that particular environment, they kept thinking about the other decisions that they should have made. They kept worrying about the fact that their decision might be wrong. So basically, they're second guessing their decision. Okay, so that's you overthinking. Causes of overthinking are also similar, because the sign is also the cause, really. So if you're not a solution-oriented person, you're not a solution-focused person, you find out that you would overthink a lot. If you're experiencing repetitive thoughts, that's you overthinking. If your brain won't shut off, it's also a cause. If you're making decisions in a struggle, you find it really difficult to make decisions, this could cause you to overthink as well, because people who find it difficult to make decisions tend to overthink the situation. And when they're pushed to make a decision, they don't trust that decision. So that's also one of the causes of overthinking. Now, there are different types of overthinkers, there are different types of overthinking. There are the people who think it has to be black and white, or white rather. So if it's not black, then it's white. If it's not good, then it's bad. And they just keep getting worried about this because they can't understand why it's not going to be A or B. Now, if you even focus on the good part of things, you will find out that you just have this certain peace and you're going to move on. So you see that you're no longer worried. So people will think it's either black or white or good or bad, they tend to focus on the bad part. So your mind would be focused on all the bad things that could go wrong. It's basically the worst case scenario for them. If it's they don't think about the good things that could happen, that this could bring. So they think about all the bad things and they can't think of anything else. So it's just the same cycle of you being worried and you not being able to sleep. And then there are the people who also think things are worse than it is. These guys don't even consider the good part. These guys just think that things are worse than they are, right? If they are told something is going to happen or it's going to be windy tomorrow, they get an alert on their phone. It's going to be windy tomorrow. Man, these guys are already thinking of how they're going to fall. They're not even going to think of, okay, so what time do I move out? They don't think about solutions at all. These guys just think about how bad it's going to be. Like, how am I going to get a cold? It's the worst case scenario. Or what if a tree falls on me? I think some people can think that deep. They're told it's going to be windy tomorrow. Really, the people who might really think that deep and just be like, I'm not going anywhere because what if a tree falls on me if I just go out, right? This could happen. I mean, we've seen cases whereby trees fell when it was windy, but you don't have to think about things with consider the worst case scenario. And it doesn't even bother. It's not something that should bother you. It's not something that's going to happen in your vicinity. So why are you bothered? How about thinking of a solution? Literally. And then there are people who also think and generalize things based on what's happened in their past. So also it's just still the negative part. When good things have happened in your past, when they've done things that it happened good, it came out right, they're not going to bother about that one. Nah, it's I did this thing, it went bad, this was how bad it was. Or I went for this job, I've been going for job interviews, I still haven't gotten a job. I mean, why bother with this interview? I'm still not going to get it. Well, we all know that you might have several job interviews and one or two might click after you've had a lot, right? So you just have to keep having that positive mindset. So the effects of overthinking, I wrote some of them down. You have depression, panic, you have post-traumatic stress disorder, that's PTSD, you have social anxiety disorder, SAD, and studies have shown that depression and anxiety can make people prone to overthinking. So that's to say they have a bi-directional relationship. So in as much as, stress and anxiety can lead you to overthinking, you overthinking as well can lead you to having depression, can lead you to having stress, anxiety. So we really don't want that, do we? Okay. We're going to talk about how to stop overthinking. I know that there are lots of people who struggle with this. I've had an experience where I was waiting for this particular document to arrive. So another thing with overthinking is you have no control over the situation. So the example where you saw someone at the bus station and you said what you're not supposed to say, you've gone home. How are you supposed to, go back in time and change that? You really can't do that. But if you think of a solution, if you do have the person's contact, then you can call the person and say, oh, I'm sorry about what I said, or, I wasn't supposed to say that. And again, it's usually very little mistakes. The person might not have even noticed. The person did not even care about what you said. And the person has gone about their lives, but somehow you're still worried about it. But if you make that call and make that conversation, then you obviously have nothing else to bother about because you've cleared the air. If it's a situation whereby you clearly wouldn't even see that person again, because it might just be that you don't even know the person. And instead of saying good morning, you said good afternoon, for instance, or you said good night. So maybe you were just feeling sleepy and you just said good night. And the person's like, oh, it's still morning. And then everybody laughs, but you're like feeling embarrassed over something that is not even a big deal, right? This person has moved on. So you need to remember that I don't even know this person. I have no relationship with this person. This person doesn't care. Literally. It might even be that you went for a networking event and you were supposed to meet this person that you admire so much, and you met the person, but what you were supposed to say, you didn't say that. You flopped, basically. It's fine. If you have the person contact, you can keep in touch. The person literally doesn't even care. Okay, you can make amends. Or maybe it's a first impression thing. You felt like, oh, this is when you had the chance to make that impression. Think about the solution, really. How can you make a second impression? That's why there's a second impression and there's a third impression. So first impression, yes, is really good. It stays for a long time, but you can change the narrative. The power is in your hands, literally. Okay. So, how do we stop overthinking? Everyone needs to learn how to stop overthinking. Everyone needs to be reminded. The first thing is you need to find a distraction, because when you're overthinking, you're fixated on that problem. You need to find a distraction. You can find a distraction by going for a walk. It depends on what you like, basically. Or you call your friend or your family and you talk to them about the problem, or you just talk to them about something else. Just keep busy. If you like to cook, get in the kitchen and start cooking. Don't go and be thinking while you're cooking, because you might cut your finger, literally, or you might burn your food. Okay, so focus on what you're cooking, enjoy the moment, and just do something else. If you're someone who's not really into activities, you can grab a book, you can listen to music, and just dance a bit in your room, or just listen to music. Just imagine yourself having fun. Just distract yourself. That's the first thing. So this is for people who are aware that they're overthinkers. They are people who are saying now proudly, oh, well, me, I'm an overthinker. I will think about this situation over and over again. We forget that even when it comes to relationships, it does lead to relationship stress. So you're stressing your partner because you keep thinking and thinking and thinking about the different scenarios that could go wrong. Your partner keeps reassuring you and keeps reassuring you, but it might come off as an insecurity, okay? Because even when they reassure you, you go back and think about all the negative scenarios about the reassurance. You might say, why is he saying this to me? Or why is she saying this to me? Oh, she must have done something. He must have done something. So you just never win, literally. You don't have peace of mind for no reason, just because you're overthinking it. Have a distraction. If your partner, for instance, is your only, he or she is the only thing you focus on, you need to focus on other things. You need to build relationships with other people. You need to like something else. Have a hobby, okay? Go to the gym, play tennis, do something that you like, walk, hang out with friends, have other people that are distractions, but not negatively. So we're not saying go and cheat on your partner because you're looking for distraction. No, basically have other people that, have other things that bring you joy. Your partner shouldn't be the only thing that, makes you happy. You yourself as a person should make yourself happy, and then every other thing follows. Okay? So when you have the negative thoughts, when they come creeping in, okay, you need to fight back those negative thoughts by bringing in positive thoughts. So no one can say that you don't have negative thoughts, no matter how positive they are. There are times that it comes to you, but how do we fight it is by bringing in positive thoughts immediately. If I find myself worrying over things I shouldn't be worried about, thinking about stuff a lot, because when you're overthinking, you're basically worrying, you're basically just bothered about things that you shouldn't be bothered about. I just begin to bring in the positive thoughts, whatever it is. So if it's like money problems that you're having, bring in positive thoughts. Say to yourself, I will be rich, I will be successful, I am great. Okay, you can even say I, don't even say I am, don't even say I will be, say I am rich, I am successful, I am great. Me, sometimes I use words. I might say success, 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 happiness, happiness, happiness. Sometimes I don't even say I am. I just use words, single words that naturally when they're said, they just come with peace inside of me. So I might just be like success, success, happiness, joy, joy. I keep saying that, and it just begins to bring scenarios in my mind that would reflect those words in my head. Okay. So another very important way that we can stop we can stop overthinking is working on improving our interpersonal skills. So when we work on improving our interpersonal skills, this could lead us to having self-confidence. When you're also self-controlled, you have self-awareness, and self-awareness is really key. Like, I wish a lot of people knew that. You hear people say, oh, I didn't even know myself until I was a certain age. Yes, because we're not aware of things, right? Having self-awareness is the first key in a lot of things when it comes to problems that we have, because being self-aware, you can now identify where you do have problems. You can now identify where your strengths lie, okay, where your weakness lie. You can identify that. Basically, just perform a SWOT analysis on yourself, okay, where the opportunities are, where the threats are, and just to help you to reflect. And it will build your self-confidence, basically, okay. And when you have self-confidence, you just know that whatever I said to that person, which wasn't even bad, because like I said, it might just be like a good morning instead of a good afternoon, instead of a good night, usually very flimsy things, okay. So it wasn't bad, and if it was bad and you feel bad, you feel a certain way about what you said or what you did, then correct it instead of just pondering about it. You failed an exam, for instance, study harder and pass the exam. Believe in yourself. If you're reading and studying and you don't believe in yourself, you will still fail, because when you know the correct answers and you're writing them down, you see that you second guess. You just be like, no, it's not supposed to be A. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be A. You've gotten A as your answer, but you start to second guess right there in the exam spot, and you go to B or C, and then you fail the exam again. So it's just a cycle that just keeps going one way or the other. Okay. Another thing that would really help us when it comes to overthinking is meditating. Yes, meditate. Take time to 5 minutes of your time and just meditate. Breathe in and breathe out. It sounds easy, it sounds simple, but if you think about it, we hardly do that. We hardly take the time to breathe in and breathe out and just, meditate just by ourselves. When I meditate, mostly it's like when I'm doing yoga, at the end I just do meditation. But sometimes I breathe in and breathe out if I feel really exhausted about something. I practice the whole breathe in and breathe out, practice. I do that. Okay, so let's learn to meditate, okay? And another thing that we can do is we need to practice self-acceptance. We need to practice self-acceptance. We are not perfect beings. Every day is just an opportunity for us to be better. So accept yourself when you make mistakes. When you do things that you shouldn't have done, that you know you shouldn't have done, that's what even makes you better than the other person, because you acknowledge the fact that you shouldn't have done what you did. Okay? So instead of focusing on the problem, focus on the solution. Practice self-love, self-acceptance. And when you make mistakes, correct them. Okay? When you do things wrong, correct them. Don't keep yourself in the problem. Now, people would think about solutions. People who are solution focused also analyze things, right? But they're not analyzing the things to just dwell in self-pity, self-hate. They're analyzing the stuff to bring value, to bring positivity. So that's where it, like when you see business owners, they bring value. And for them to be able to bring value to the society, they were thinking, right? They had a thinking brain. So their brains were not worrying. They were thinking. They're trying to solve the problem. So let's try anytime you see yourself worrying, immediately put yourself back in solution mode. Put yourself back in solution focused mode. And the last but not the least advice I have is seek professional help. Okay, if you've noticed that you're so deep in this and you've tried other things and it's still not working for you, then please seek professional help. Go for therapy. Okay. We don't preach therapy enough. Where I'm from, Nigeria, people, we don't really talk about mental health. Okay. But I think now it's really changing because people are beginning to acknowledge the fact that it's a thing and we need to, get better in that area, basically. So I'm not a therapist, but I would say if all of this, in fact, just seek therapy, seek help, basically seek professional help, go to therapy, and they would definitely help you, okay, with overthinking. So those people who say I'm an overthinker and they're happy about it, overthinking can be mentally exhausting. It can lead you, you get to a point where you're just mentally exhausted and there's really nothing else you can do. You get to a point where it feels like your chest, your heart is going off, or you can even have high blood pressure from just worrying and worrying. So worrying, thinking to solve a problem, two different things. Let's not think that when we're thinking about a problem over and over again, then it's solved. It's not solved. We're giving ourselves more and more problems. So I do hope that after listening to this session or this episode, you're going to try. So whenever you see yourself thinking, please divert your thoughts, okay? Start by diverting your thoughts. Practice that. Just start by doing that. Meditating, do that often as well, okay? Even if you're not overthinking at the moment, just practice meditation. And just practice having positive thoughts coming in and, changing the narrative, and just the positive thoughts will come in and fight out that negative thought of your head. If you notice you just keep replaying, you can't sleep because of a certain event or a certain thing that's happened in your life or something that's about to happen in your life, begin to think about the good things that could happen. Okay. Me, sometimes I just say all things happen together for my good, really. And it just puts me in a place where I'm okay and I'm good. And nothing is worth my sleep. Nothing is worth my sleep unless I am thinking of a solution or I'm studying or working for something. Then I think, okay, but me being in my thoughts and not sleeping, not gonna happen. Really, I'm going to sleep really well because when I go to bed and I notice if I'm thinking about whatever, I just bring in positive thoughts. It just comes with peace and it's just so sweet. And before you know what's happening, you're sleeping and you're sleeping really good. Okay, so I just hope that we've learned today and we would practice what we've learned. And I look forward to having you guys in the next episode. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I can't wait to speak to you guys again. Do have a lovely day and talk to you soon. Bye.